Welcome back to J&Y Cards, where we are going to be enjoying this amazing hobby together. Today is episode 320, and we're going to be opening up the Mono Red 2021 Standard Challenger deck for Magic the Gathering here. But before we do that, you all should consider subscribing, because once I hit 400 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away these packs of baseball cards. We've got a value pack of 2021 Series 1, Heritage Fat Pack from this year and from last year, and a retail pack of Heritage Baseball from this year. And once I hit 500 subscribers, and don't worry, I'm going to have a giveaway for when I hit 425, 450, and 475 subscribers. But once I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away this mega box of 2022. Wait, is this 2022? 2021, sorry. Prism Baseball Draft Picks. And I'm also going to be giving away all of my unclaimed subscriber giveaway prizes. And so, for example, I'm going to be giving away this right here. These 4 packs of Illusions of Basketball. This is from Mr. Justin Medina. Please claim these. If you don't, I'm going to give them away to whoever wins my 500 subs giveaway. We've got this hanger box for Getting Lucky in Kentucky. And let me see what else we got. We got this Donruss Blaster box. Eagle Beast won this for my 275 subs giveaway, but he or she has not claimed it yet, or they have not claimed it yet. And so if they don't claim it, I'm going to give it away with whoever wins my 500 subs giveaway. And finally, we've got this. Griff, you won this when I hit 300 subscribers, but you have not claimed it yet. And this is just a blaster box of Diamond Kings baseball. So when I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away Mega Box, 4 packs, the hanger box, and 2 blaster boxes. So, Griff, Eagle Beast, Getting Lucky in Kentucky, and Justin Medina, you guys have until I hit 500 subs to claim your prizes here. If you don't, then I'm sorry, I'm going to give them away, all right? You can just contact me at jnycards@gmail.com, and I would love to ship this stuff out to you. If not, I would love to give it away to whoever wins my 500 subscribers giveaway, all right? So, let's get to this Mono Red Standard Challenger deck. These decks came out in 2021, and you got to be careful when buying these at retail stores, because it's really easy to take a knife and slit this glue in here off, and then to take out the contents, put in new cards, and then seal it back up with just some hot glue and return it to the stores. I know a lot of stores do not accept returns on any trading cards at the moment, but some are. So just be careful when you buy this product at retail stores. I recommend you buy these at your local game stores, all right? And so let's see what we get in here. These are from 2021. They are old, but they are still available on a lot of shelves here. So red deck wins. I like that. I personally have a lot of experience with this deck. During COVID, I played a lot of Magic Arena, and I used Mono Red. Pretty much the cards listed in this box to do pretty well in a bunch of Magic Arena tournaments. So you get the box, and then you get this box, right? And within the box that comes within the box, you get your 60 card deck, this card divider, this card spacer thing, and your sideboard, and a bunch of tokens and some advertising, right? So that's pretty cool, right? So then it's easy to kind of, for thieves, it's easy for them to kind of slit this open, because right, it's just connected with, let me see here, let me see if I can peel this off. It's just glue, and so it's easy for them to kind of peel this glue or cut this glue or cut the paper underneath the glue, and then take all the good stuff out and then return it. So yeah. All right, so what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna open up these cards. I'm gonna sort them by casting cost, and then we'll just kind of talk through the deck. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so I sorted this deck by converted mana cost, and we're gonna just kind of go through what you get with this deck. It's a really fun deck here. You get a Aggro Hellhound, which at times is a really good card. But I prefer Fervent Champion as a 1-drop. This card just hits the ground running. And if you have other knights, which you have other knights in the deck here, so when Fervent Champion attacks, another attacking knight you control gets +1/+1 end of turn, which is really awesome. Plus this ability, you can equip it for 3 less, right? Equip abilities you activate that target for Fervent Champion costs 3 less. So I prefer this as a 1-drop, but Aggro Hellhound is not too bad. The 2-drops are pretty good too. Rimrock Knight is just such a fun card. That the adventure ability here, that +2/+0, it works so well with Fervent Champion because it's got first strike. It can just take something out of nowhere. And the other great thing is that you can play this again for 2 mana, a white and a red. I'm sorry, as a 1 in red, and you can get a 3/1 creature. That can be pretty tough because I mean sometimes you can swing in with a 3/1 and your opponent has to block it, or else they'll take 3 damage. And honestly, it's a win-win. If they block it and you kill a creature, that's fine because this card, you already kind of got the value out of this card because you already use its +2/+0 ability. And then if you attack with it again, and it gets blocked and kills another creature, great, even more value, right? Kargan Intimidator, I didn't really use this card too much. 2 mana, you get a 3/1 creature. Cowards can't block warriors, and so you can choose for 1 mana. You can choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn, right? So this guy gets +1/+1, or target creature becomes a coward into end of turn, or target warrior gains trample into end of turn. This card is kind of interesting because you kind of have to pump a lot of mana into it, which is great in the later phases of the game, but kind of sometimes you draw this card and it doesn't do as much as you hope it would, even though it's got all those abilities. But I mean, it's still, there are situations where it's a fun card, but I prefer Rimrock Knight as for the 2-drops. 3-drops are awesome. I love these 2 cards here. So let me read through them here. So we got we'll do Bone Crusher Giant first. Bone Crusher Giant, you can pay 1 in red as an instant, and this does 2 damage to any target, and that damage can't be prevented. So it's like a super shock, right? It's like Incinerate plus Lightning Bolt plus Shock, right? If you know it, kind of, right? Anyways, and then you can pay 2 in a red, and you get a 4/3 giant, and whenever this giant becomes the target of a spell, it deals 2 damage to target to that spell's controller, which comes in really handy, right? I love this card. It's got removal, and then it becomes a 4/3 creature that's pretty tough to deal with at times, and sometimes your opponents have to target it, which means they lose 2 life still, right? And then Annex, Hardened in the Forge. This is a legendary enchantment creature. I really like this card. I always love having one of these on the battlefield. So it's a 1 red legendary enchantment creature demigod. It's a star 3 creature. This creature's power is equal to your devotion to red. And so by the time you play this as a 3-drop, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 devotion to red. So it should be a 4/3, right? And whenever Annex or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 red Satyr I don't know how to say that word, satyr creature token with this creature can't block. If this creature had power 4 or greater, create 2 of those tokens instead. And so if this thing dies as a 4/3, because of this line right here, if this creature had power 4 or greater, create 2 of those tokens instead, you get 2 of those 1/1 tokens, right? Which is really cool. It just kind of becomes problematic for your opponent. Let me see. So before we kind of get to like these big finishers, let's go back to our 1-drops and 2-drops and look at our removal spells here. We got classic card here, Shock. You always you have 4 shocks if you're playing red. And then you've got Spikefield Hazard, right? It's a land instant flip card, right? You can put it into play. It enters the battlefield tapped, and you can tap it to get 1 red. Or you can pay 1 red, and Spikefield Hazard deals 1 damage to any target. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. Great for removing problematic cards. And sometimes with red decks, especially the more aggressive ones, you kind of get into some mana trouble at times. So even though it comes into play tapped, you need that mana, so just go ahead and play it in. Just play it in tapped, and at least you're getting red mana, right? And so that's a cool card. I like that card as well. And then we got Royal Eruption. 1 in a red sorcery. It does 3 damage to any target. If it was kicked for another 5 more, it does 5 damage. So you're paying 7 mana to do 5 damage, which isn't too bad. You know, in the later phases of the game, honestly, it's hard to get to 7 mana. All right, if you're getting to 7 mana, either you got flooded or you're losing. But I mean, maybe you get into a situation where you just got to do 5 damage, 5 points of direct damage, and Royal Eruption can do that for you. All right. And then let's actually jump up here to Shatter Skull Smashing. This is a land here. This is a mythic. So you can pay 3 mana and it comes into play untapped. If not, it comes into play tapped. And it's a X red sorcery. Shatter Skull Smashing does X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more, Shatter Skull Smashing deals twice X damage divided as you choose among them instead. Now, 6 as X plus the 2 red is 8 mana, and rarely are you going to hit 8 mana with this deck. Again, just like with the Royal Eruption, if you're hitting 8 mana, either you're losing or you got flooded. Chances are both. So it's kind of a cool card that you have like a 1 of or 2 of, because it still deals direct damage, right? To up to 2 creatures. So that's kind of nice. It's not, sometimes you just need to clear the path for your creatures to deal damage, or you just need to kind of do additional damage to some creatures to get rid of them. So then the 2 bigger casting cost cards here are up here. We got Torben, who's awesome, one of my favorite finishers. There have been many games where where my opponent thinks that the situation is under control, and then I drop Torben, and now a red source I control, whenever it deals damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 2. So now all of a sudden, my 1/1s can now do 3 damage, and it catches my opponent off guard. And it's also a legendary creature, so, but I mean, I love dropping this card on my 4th turn. And then we got Embercleave, which I think is the best card in the deck. That's why you only get 1 of these. Let's read it. It's 4 red, legendary artifact equipment. It's got flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When Embercleave enters the battlefield, attach it to a creature you control. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. So yeah, that's a lot of text, but it pretty much means that when you attack with your creatures, this costs 1 less for each attacking creature. So I mean, if you're attacking with 3 creatures, now it costs 1 red, and it can flash into play. It gets equipped onto a creature, and now that creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. So there have been times where I throw this onto my Annex, and my Annex is a 4/3. Now it's a 5/4 with Trample and Double Strike. Or I throw it onto my Bone Crusher Giant, which would also be a 5/4 with Double Strike and Trample. Or I throw it onto a Rimrock Knight, which would become a 4/2 with Double Strike and Trample. And so Embercleave just does amazing things. It will just win the game out of nowhere. Same thing with Torbrand. So that's kind of the gist of the deck here. You're just trying to drop creatures, and the deck curves out really well. And then by turn 4 or 3, by turn 4, you're dropping your Torben or your Embercleave, and you win the game out of nowhere. Your opponent has no idea what just happened here, right? So let's count our lands here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 lands here. And then we also have these 2, which are lands, as well as these 4, which are lands. So you got potentially 24 lands in this deck. But these are your main lands here, and this card is really cool. Castle Imbreth. It enters the battlefield unless you control a mountain, and you need to tap it for red, or you can go white, red, red, and creatures you control get +1/+1 at the end of the turn. This card will also win games out of nowhere. So then let's go ahead and jump into the sideboard here. With the sideboard, you get a lot of direct damage. Red Cat Melee, 1. It's just red instant. It deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that non-red permanent is dealt damage this way, you sacrifice a land, which is, for 1 mana, it's worth it. It's worth sacrificing that land to deal 4 damage and just getting things out of the way, especially planeswalkers, right? So that's why you get 4 of these. You get Thundering Rebuke. Nice card. It's sorcery, so it's slower. It deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. You have 3 of these. Soul Seer, it's a 2 red instant. It deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. That permanent loses indestructible until end of turn, which is really helpful. And then we got Soul Guide Lantern, which is great for Graveyard Hate. It's 1 artifact. When Soul Guide Lantern ETBs, exile target card from a graveyard. You can sack it and exile each opponent's graveyard, which is great for Commander. Or you can pay 1 in red, sacrifice Soul Guide Lantern, and draw a card. You know, if you kind of have used it and kind of gotten rid of that problematic card in your opponent's graveyard, tap it, sack it, draw a card. So you get 2 cards. You get 2 of those. Relic Robber. This is a great card, kind of against. I would use this against control decks and combo decks. So it's a 2 red Goblin Rogue Haste 2/2 creature. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player creates a 0/1 colorless Goblin Construct artifact creature token with this creature can't block. And at the beginning of your upkeep, this creature deals 1 damage to you. This card's pretty cool because, I mean, if it can do like 2 damage to like a control player or a combo player, a player that kind of needs a little more time to win the game. I mean, if you can hit your opponent twice with this guy, I mean, over the course of 4 turns, it does 8 damage out of nowhere, and then it really puts a big clock on your opponent to win the game. So you get 2 of those. And Rolling Vortex. This is an enchantment for 1 in red. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, Rolling Vortex deals 1 damage to them, which is fine. You're a red player, you don't care about your life. When a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast that spell, Rolling Vortex deals 5 damage to that player. That's great for cards that, I don't know, like not flashback, but like cards that people can cast for free, or suspend. What's that one ability? I'm trying to think. Like, it's got like behold or beyond the multiverse. It's foreshadow, I think, is the ability. So this is really good against that. And the red one, that you can pay a red and your opponent can't gain life this turn. That's huge. And a lot of decks here. So yeah, that's the sideboard. And you also get some tokens as well. You get these 5 Satyr tokens that Annex can produce. So yeah, there it is. A really fun deck. I had a lot of fun playing this deck during COVID. Now, if you buy this Challenger deck right now, today, I don't think it's tournament legal. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure most of these cards are not tournament legal. But is it a fun deck to kind of just lay around, to keep laying around, and when your buddies come over and you decide to play some Magic, you're like, hey, I've got a Magic deck. It's cool because you can pull out this deck, you can play against them, and you might win a few games with it too. So I think it's a fun deck. It's a deck that I'm probably gonna keep together and sleeve up just to play against my friends for fun. So hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope I added some value to your day. All of you out there, please take care of yourself, and I'll see you all in the next video.